To recognize the gentleman from Lincoln for discussion of the matter.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Permission to speak on the bill.
Yes, sir.
I will say that when I first started looking into this bill, when the gentleman from Rockcastle first filed it, and I was asked at a conference if I would look into it by some of the folks in California and to help as we proceeded with this bill. And I told them that I would have to come and see the vehicles myself. I was very skeptical of it. And so we went out, again, the gentleman from Wayne, the gentleman from McGoffin, myself, we went out and rode in these vehicles, as has already been stated. We also met with about 7 or 8 different companies that do these vehicles. Some were semi companies, some were just box truck companies, some were ride share companies. And in riding in those vehicles, we had some experiences that day. And after I was finished, I had no worries of safety whatsoever, because we asked about snow, and they said right now we're testing in the snow because it does have a difficult time seeing, so the cars are just pulling over and stopping. But they said that we have trucks right now that are running up in Canada on snow roads. They have already developed the technology to be able to see those roads, to maintain those roads during the snow, and they were going to continue working on that for all of the fleet. And that is one of the reasons that they are wanting to test in Kentucky, is because of our climate. They also talked about construction zones, which was asked by the gentleman from McGoffin. How do they recognize those things? We were told they can see the flagman. They recognize that flagman. They will stop for that flagman. They read the sign, whichever way it's turned. They have no issue with that. They know when to veer into the other lane for the construction zones. There was a lady crossing the road in the vehicle we were in, and the car monitored that lady. It read her gait as she was coming to the crosswalk. It looked at her face. The woman never looked down the street. The car stopped. The lady crossed the road. There was a truck coming down one street. We were going one way. The truck was coming the other. It was a very small street. There was no way those two cars were going to pass. That car found a hole in between 2 other cars, pulled over, and let that truck come by. The semi company that was out there, I asked them, I said, how many accidents have you had? Because they are running trucking routes from Dallas, Texas right now to Orlando, Florida, and to Atlanta, Georgia. Fully autonomous. They have a driver behind the wheel, but that driver told us, I have not touched the wheel and I don't know how many trips. Fully autonomous. I said, how many accidents have you had? They said, we've had 1. And I said, what exactly happened? They started to explain it. They said, we were coming into the truck. It was at night. The truck is able to see 3 football fields ahead of itself. As it was coming to that area, there was a lady who was standing on the side of the road, had her car pulled over, but she couldn't get out of the road far enough, so she was standing there on the side of the road. The truck started to slow down from the time it saw that on the side of the road. It slowed itself down to 15 miles an hour. It slowed itself down so much that a car that was not paying attention come barreling through and hit that truck in the rear end. And had it not been for that truck, they said that lady possibly could have been killed. The data that has been kept on accidents in California with these vehicles as they've been on the roads, and the data shows, as of the past several years, they had some issues at the very beginning which were worked out. In the past several years, all of the accidents in their data shows that it was someone else's fault. Either that autonomous vehicle was rear-ended, someone ran a stoplight or a red light and hit that car in the side, but the autonomous vehicle was not at fault. I have no concerns with the safety of these vehicles. I have no concerns with jobs because, as was already mentioned, they are going to bring 5 jobs for every 1 that it replaces. 5 good-paying technical jobs, of which we can train for here in our state, in our community colleges, as we do many times. Again, I have no concerns with this. I appreciate the gentleman from Rockcastle and the work that he's done on it, and I urge this body to pass this bill.